I'm the king.
Howdy guys, it's Anime Games Aiden here, and if you know me, you should know that I'm really into Atlus games. I mean, it's not like I made a 6 minute and 3 second long video just talking about their marketing. Now did I? Well, today I'm going to talk about a relatively obscure game that Atlus published back in their publishing heyday. Yeah, not only is Atlus a developer, but they're also a publisher. Here in North America specifically. But this was a long time ago. Yeah, Atlus is part of Sega now. They really haven't published anything that they didn't develop in a really long time. Atlus North America would publish games developed by Atlus Japan, but they would also publish really unknown JRPGs from time to time. Just like the game we'll be talking about today, Baroque. Baroque was actually developed and published by Sting in Japan, but in the US it was published by Atlus. Atlus did this for many games including Rule of Rose, Super Robot Tyson, Operation Darkness, and funnily enough, Demon Souls. Yeah, this is the precursor to the entire Souls series, and Atlus loves talking about this game so much. It's on their notable franchises list on their website. I mean, they could have put Etrian Odyssey or Growlancer, but nah, just the one game they published and never had anything else to do with. But I'm getting off topic. So Baroque was released in 2008 for the Wii and PS2 by Atlus. And you can probably tell it didn't do too well critically, and that's probably why you're hearing about it now. Interestingly enough, I actually have a personal story with this game. Yeah, me and my buddy Leo, who we used to call Evil Cow, were having a sleepover one night, and for some reason my dad took us to the local GameStop. I don't know why. This was back in middle school, so I didn't have a lot of spending money, but I remember seeing Baroque on the shelf. It was about $5. I've been playing a lot of Persona 4 around then, so when I saw the Atlus logo, I was immediately interested. I used my phone to check the reviews, and I saw they were pretty bad, so Leo and I contemplated for a while over if we should get the game. But then he told me I should save my money and wait for something better. And oddly enough, this encounter stuck with me. It wasn't until years later when I saw Gnarly's video on underrated Atlus games that I see how good it was that I decided to go pick up a copy. Now let's see if all those years of waiting were worth it. Let's check out Baroque. Just a heads up before we start, guys, I haven't technically beat the game yet. I mean, I completed the Nero Tower and got some sort of ending, but really Baroque is kind of a weird game where beating the main dungeon doesn't really mean beating it. I mean, I'll talk more about it later once I get to that part, but for right now, let's get more into the review. Baroque is a roguelike RPG, meaning that you advance through a dungeon, and once you die, that's it, back to the beginning. This can be especially gut-wrenching because when you die, you lose your inventory and all the EXP you got up to that point. At first, I hated this, but oddly enough, I learned to embrace it. You can actually store up to 5 items for later use, meaning that you'll keep them once you die. All I have to do is find a thing called a conscience and throw one into it. This is really helpful because it allows you to carry your rare items between lives. The Nero Tower, the main dungeon of the game, is only about 16 floors long. It's actually procedurally generated. This means that every go-through feels new and original. This does have its problem though. I've had whole go-throughs of the tower where I can't find any equipment at all. Like I'll be on the 5th floor and have no weapons, no armor, or no health items and die. But luckily and weirdly enough, death is actually a mechanic in this game. With every death, certain parts of the story actually advance. This is the reason I didn't beat the game, but I did beat the tower. You have to let story events happen so that way you know what events to fulfill within the dungeon. And this is really my only major problem with the game. You progress super far in a dungeon, but because you haven't died like 30 times yet, you aren't really progressing at all. This is why I'm quote unquote reviewing the game. I've been playing for a while, but I still haven't really died enough yet to see anything happen. But let's take out the slowness brought by dying. Is Baroque still worth it? Well, yeah, the combat is alright. I never felt discouraged when I died, oddly enough. The fact that you must die, oddly enough, makes it feel rewarding to die. It's sort of like the Guardian system in SMT if you ever played that. And if, when your character or partner died, you'd get a new Guardian. This would provide you with stat bonuses or spells, really powering you up by dying. In Baroque though, dying just changes the overworld and what characters say. It sometimes opens new areas, but mainly just like Coffin Man's training area, so nothing really much. One thing Baroque really nails though, is the atmosphere. It's that mix of angelic and apocalyptic at the same time. I love it. Okay, I've talked about SMT how many times now in this video? But real quickly, I want to say the world oddly enough reminds me of SMT2. It's probably that whole angelic and apocalyptic look mix. I don't know. Now, Baroque also has a great soundtrack. I like it very much. It's ominous, yet also techno. Very fitting for the atmosphere, in my opinion. It's composed by a guy named Masaharu Iwata. And man, has this guy got a resume. He's worked on some of the Tactics Ogre games, the Odin Sphere remake, and even Fantasy Zone on the Master System. Wow! And finally, probably one of the most interesting things about Baroque, the localization. What, did you think I was going to make a video on an Atlus game and not talk about the localization? The dubbing is excellent in my opinion. This is back when Atlus used to set the golden standard for dubs. The game features the talents of Dave Wittenberg, Derek Stephen Prince, Kyle Hebert, and Michelle Ruff, just to name a few. Now that's really all I have to say about Baroque for today. I'll probably talk more about the game once I die a few more times, and it starts actually telling me what to do. Now, would I recommend Baroque? Certainly. If you can handle the slow-paced nature of the game, you'll probably enjoy it. If you like roguelikes, you'll probably enjoy it even more. Just a heads up though, this game can be kind of pricey. Being an Atlus game, it's kind of expected at this point. I've seen it go for all sorts of prices, but if you can find it for somewhere in the range of $10 to $20, I'd say it's worth your time. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. See you next time.